So in Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, there's been something that's been happening every single chapter, and I know that a lot of the fans and me alike are not even necessarily mad that this is happening. It's more so just why is this really a part of the story? And if you don't know what I'm talking about the whole Sarada and Sumire plotline with Boruto and their infatuation with Boruto pretty much. And just to give a little bit of a background, a little bit of a summary, pretty much this whole thing started when Boruto returned to the village. Sarada leapt in Boruto's arms, and Sumire was there watching and was pretty upset about the whole ordeal. One of the recent Boruto chapters, Sumire is having a conversation with Sarada, pretty much saying that, Sarada, I feel like you didn't acknowledge my feelings towards Boruto. You kind of just leapt into his arms. Sumire is pretty upset at Sarada for this. And from a narrative perspective, I understand why they're trying to incorporate these things. I mean, Naruto has had their romance with, Naruto Hinata, and questionable being Sasuke and Sakura, but it's always been there in, Naruto. So I'm not mad that it's in here. It's just that for this specific plot reason, I can't for the life of me understand how this is relevant to anything that's going on in the story. So it feels like that a lot of the characters in Boruto are sort of reduced down to like this character that is just infatuated with another character. And Matsuri, a Shinju based on Moegi, has sort of the same thing going on, and it almost feels like I'm watching a rom-com or like some Love is Blind type show sometime for these chapters. And it's really confusing because for the Moegi thing, that makes sense. That makes sense that the Shinju that's related to Moegi would have a crush on Konohamaru. That makes sense. 1 + 1 = 2. But I just can't for the life of me understand why it's important to include that Sarada and Sumire like the same person. Maybe this is going to lead to some sort of conflict to where they're fighting with Boruto, but at the same time, I feel like it only reduces their characters to rely on Boruto. I think that Sarada and Sumire are characters to where they can stand on their own. Sarada, perfect example. End of Boruto, before the time skip, unlocks her Madagenko Sharingan because she's upset with the situation to where supposedly Naruto just died, and at the same breath, now Naruto's son, who everyone thinks is now Kawaki, but she knows is Boruto, is now being chased for the murder of Naruto Uzumaki, thus awakening the Madagenko Sharingan, right? So very interesting, right? Because it made Sarada into a character to where she was the first person to sort of unlock or sort of evolve her Sharingan into this new way to where it's more so out of love and not really out of hatred. So it's very interesting to see that after the time skip, Sarada has really turned into a character to where she's not really standing on her own 2 feet. It's more so like she's pretty much relying on Boruto from like a narrative perspective to sort of move her character along. Even the first, 2 chapters when they were fighting those Ten Tails clones and they were sort of getting cornered, Sarada is sort of just standing there, locked knees. Boruto comes in and saves the day. Every time that Boruto is present on the screen, Sarada's character moves forward. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't even feel like that in Boruto before the time skip, that their relationship was even on that level at that point. It would make more sense if you have sort of like a Hinata Naruto type of situation where you can clearly tell that Hinata has a crush on. Kind of important to the story because you think about Hinata and how she sacrificed her life during the pain fight for Naruto, and you kind of see all the build up that sort of led to that. But with Sarada, I don't know if I don't necessarily see that for Boruto. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know in the comment section if I'm wrong, but I just don't necessarily see that for Boruto. But what I was pretty much saying was that I just don't see how this is going to build her character up even more. I want to see Sarada sort of turn to a character to where she is a brand new Uchiha. I want to see what she can do. She just unlocked the Madagenko Sharingan. I kind of want to see that as well and really see what she's capable of in that aspect and really just show off her power, right? I don't want her to sort of be this character that kind of relies on Boruto to, stand on, and kind of want her to be an independent person in that sense. And same for Sumire. I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of Sumire, only because I just don't remember much of her in the story and her relevance. I think at the start of Boruto, she was really cool with the whole new arc, but after that, I'm just not really sure what they're doing for her character. I thought they sort of dive more into that aspect of her with new and whatnot, but it just seems like it sort of dropped off. And I think with her character, they can make her really interesting to where she is sort of, playing the spy, working with Hamato, and maybe uncover some truths there. Because remember, she does have some, elite level training based on the first couple of Boruto episodes that we saw. So even for Sumire, I think there's some potential there to really flesh out her character and make her interesting. Once you start making characters, not only just the women characters, but just characters in general, just solely rely on one person to sort of, build them up, I think that's when you get characters to where they're very one-dimensional and they're not very interesting at all. So I'm just kind of hoping that as the story progresses, we can kind of lean off of this whole rom-com thing that's going on and maybe even turn it into something else to where these feelings are not necessarily a point of contention between Sarada and Sumire, but will sort of evolve into driving the plot forward a little bit. Because as it stands right now, all of these panels where I'm seeing them recap their conversation in front of Ada is not helping me at all. Okay, I don't need y'all to recap it for the third time. Okay, but I'm just saying that those scenes, in my opinion, are not really worthwhile. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe these will sort of evolve in something greater, right? I'm just not really sure. Like I said before, just not too fond of the idea of that their whole personalities have turned into a I like Boruto, you like Boruto, now we're beefing, right? I just don't like that aspect. So very interesting. I don't know, I've noticed in the past couple of chapters, usually when I do my reviews, I just kind of gloss over it. But yeah, it's just something that I've noticed with those characters, and Sarada being one of my favorite characters. I'm like, what happened to Sarada? And for her to do this 180, right? I feel like Sarada in part 1 was a way better character. But yeah, let me know what you guys thoughts on how you feel about the whole, Sarada and Sumire liking Boruto, part of the story. Do you think it's even relevant to include? And if so, why? Let me know your thoughts and opinions. But anyway, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.